discretion is advised as we cover many an insane movie and numerous cult TV phenomenons. Now, are you ready to get jacked up? Are you with us? Then listen on.
I have with me colleague and pal and movie maker Mitch McLeod, and I have Voices from the Balcony head blogger Jim Morazzini. How are you two?
I am doing good. I am doing very good.
Yeah,
Glad to be on the show.
Yes. Thanks for inviting us.
All right, we are all big horror fanatics. You can see from the Wishmaster icon I posted here for the group chat. I was like, I'm gonna let each of you just pick 5 essential horror films. It's like, and that's not the same as best of the best. Just one's is like you gotta see at least once. It just influenced so much style and love of the genre.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because Mitch, he likes experimental, and Jim, you've done so many unusual indies where you're like, I don't even know what to say. So I just figured it's like, put your heads together and let's come up with a wacky, unusual list.
Oh, this will be an unusual list.
Well, let's hear it.
Oh, I was going to let you go first, but I will gladly go first. As I was saying while we were waiting for you, top of the list for a current film, The Color Out of Space.
Nice. Haven't seen it yet.
And what's this one about?
That's the H.P. Lovecraft one.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Love ourselves Lovecraft. We don't like the person, but we like the stuff he does.
Yeah. But
I couldn't help myself.
No. Even apart from his racial, his he was just a freak anyways. But that's besides the point. This is
terror.
No, this is the one. Robert Stanley's Richard Stanley, excuse me, his big comeback film after like 20 years, and yes, a meteor lands on Nick Cage's llama farm and starts mutating people.
I thought a bunch of meteors hit Nick Cage in general. He goes
These
places
days
no one ever goes. He
Yes.
abuses people. He runs around places. He asks people how to get burned, and then he stops people from nuking San Francisco. All in a day's work. So yes, he also races cars. Last I heard, but I could be wrong.
I didn't hear that.
Gone in 60 seconds. I'm just joking around.
Oh, okay.
I'm surprised he has not taken over the Fast and Furious franchise from Vin Diesel.
I'm surprised you haven't put him in it. They've got everybody else.
Let Nick Cage just take over random franchises and just fuck with people.
Here they were going to have him replace him, but he wouldn't shave his head.
Why would he shave his head? He's got the crazy rock.
That's his line right there.
Oh, I'm gonna shave my head.
Next one up on the list, Event Horizon.
Yes, the real Hellraiser in space.
Yes, that is the only film as an adult to actually give me nightmares.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
I grew up on it with it on Sci-Fi Channel. This is where you do with this Pandorum and even Pompeii. You do see Paul W.S. Anderson say, "Hey, I love movies as much as the next guy. I'm going to stop doing junky ones. I'm going to do more just a popcorn with some cool substance. Not deep, but just awesome, fun. It might not be a party movie, but it's definitely a fun,
Yes.
haunted ship. It's more Ghost Ship than even Ghost Ship was,
And unlike Ghost Ship, it doesn't start sucking after the first 10 minutes.
Oh, damn. Ghost Ship, all I remember is just the random nudity and, of course, the opening massacre.
Yes. I don't even remember the nudity.
Really? That was like the scene I first tuned into. I was not old enough for that. I was scarred for life. Oh, God. I was 12. Go ahead and laugh.
No, I saw Event Horizon in the theater, which will give you an idea how damn old I am.
Well, yeah, that'll do it. That'll scar you for life.
Yes, I went in expecting an Alien clone, and oh shit, was I surprised.
It's weird. He definitely pays tribute to Alien, but I don't feel like it's an Alien knockoff. A lot of critics who didn't like it just went so far as to say, "Oh, Alien knockoff." I'm like,
Yeah.
why? Because it's got a shit gone wrong in outer space.
I think it was
barely
I think it
scratching the
was
surface.
I think it was because of the ads for it. The ads on TV made it look like an alien thing. You know, oh, the Event Horizon has come back and it's brought something with it as the camera just kind of creeps through the corridors.
Well, that year from '97, it was definitely a better Alien movie than Alien Resurrection, in my opinion. So,
Yeah. I'm not going to argue that.
I don't know, here's the other thing. We try not our best not to argue, and this is the best part. We always have just wacky. I am just a lucky bastard. I almost always get a crowd which will have a mixed bag, so it's cool to have that multi takedown of one movie. It's like, okay, so this is an unusual movie. It's hard to classify, but with this one, I think it's just pretty straightforward. I definitely like this better than Hellraiser Bloodline, although I like that one in its own respect. But some people hate that one, so.
I think that might have been about the last of the good Hellraiser movies.
Yeah. We could definitely do an episode on the Hellraisers. My Barkers disowned the franchise.
Do you blame them?
All right. Mitch, what is number 8? What's one that you could not live without? It's like, that is a horror movie. That's an entertaining one.
I mean, the classic, the one that started the Golden Trio. I'm a big Halloween Michael Myers guy.
All right, so the original suspenseful one.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the original phenomenal film. I love that John Carpenter was given so little a premise to work with. You know, the guy is out getting a relative amount of success and has producers come up and say, hey, make a movie about a guy who targets babysitters, which could be just any silly B movie could be born from that. And then he goes and creates that film from that premise. So little money. I just respect it so much. It's one of the first movies I saw as a kid that
Really?
Well, it's one of the first horror movies I saw as a kid that really wowed me. It's just
nice.
From the very beginning when it opens with that theme song. I was just
scarred for life.
You know, that mask is just so phenomenal.
A Bill Shatner mask.
I think that Michael Myers is one of the scariest things ever put on screen, to be honest. He's just a terrifying individual, so I'm a big fan.
Yeah, he's definitely ruthless, and it's something that everyone's kind of puts that aside. Is like, if you're gonna have an unstoppable killing machine, you at least want to add some backstory, and most people forget the backstory part. So
yeah,
hell, I'll break into this list. Number 7, Wishmaster. I'm sorry, this is Gremlins meets Hellraiser, just playing around with the whole be careful what you want and need, and it's a franchise that never recovers. I was already a fan of Andrew Divoff from Toy Soldiers and Another 48 Hours, and having him in this role, just I like how it goes all full-blown Warlock, Terminator in the final part. And I mean, some people like to classify this as a so bad it's good movie. I understand, maybe with the sequels, but I think this is a legit, just very creative movie. This really, I like how this and The Mummy get into Egyptian folklore and add that aspect to it.
Yeah. I haven't seen Wishmaster since I was a kid. I watched it in theaters, but man, I remember really enjoying it back in the day. That opening, I think, with all the people in that cavern or wherever it takes place and opens up, that image kind of lingered with me.
Got a who's who of horror, and that's what everyone kind of remembers about it. I just kind of like how he just plays all the games with everybody. And especially the police station where he's just trying to get info from her, and he pretty much just basically notices how this cop is just wanting to gun down this twice escaped felon who's in here on another charge. He's like, he's about to get off. Oh, I'd love to lay, the law down on him. So then he just takes control of that felon, and the felon just starts pretty much massacring everybody in the station. It's just like, jeez. So this is I know plenty of people who would definitely not like this if they're not into dark humor. I mean, everyone varies on dark humor. I just think it works here because it's just that kind of camp. And I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that it was so low budget and these were by various people who loved and breathed horror day and out, Alex Kurtzman and the writer of the first 4 Hellraisers. So, it was definitely a labor of love, and I think it shows much like early Carpenter. Even Matt Flanagan, I think, is another good example of someone who just, they've been watching this all their lives and they want to add something new to the pot. So, for me, say again.
Mike Flanagan?
Yes. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I've become pretty obsessed with him lately.
I've been a fan since Oculus hit theaters 2013. I was like, okay, so this guy is not like the others.
I know it's blasphemy, but I'm not a fan.
Okay. All right. Oh. Again, all the winners.
Well, this was. Go ahead and sign off now.
Oh shit! There goes half an episode. What a fuck. All right. Well, I will dare someone to take on number 6.
Well, since we're on the Flanagan subject,
do it. Is it going to be Oculus or is it going to be one of his later ones?
Actually, I'm a big fan of all of his stuff. I actually watched Absentia a few months back because Absentia Pictures, which is my company. Everyone always asked me if that was my thing. Like, oh yeah, of course it was. But yeah, absolutely. So that's a good one too, despite its low budget. It's not very impressive at first, but it gets good. I've been a big fan of everything. But I don't know if this counts in what you're trying to go for right now, because I guess technically it's not a film, but The Haunting of Hill House really just blew my mind when I watched it. And I only watched it because, I know Ariane Martin, who had a small role in it as the mother with the grieving son over the grandmother, but then her son, Julian, who's actually also in Color Out of Space, played young Luke. And so I watched it to show support for those guys, and it just blew my mind. It's such a phenomenal show, and it kind of does exactly what I like to do as a filmmaker with my own work, because it's technically a horror by means, but it just has this real dramatic core to it, and it's sad, it's moving, it's dramatic, it's scary. It has all the things that I want to see in something like that. And so I know it's not technically a film, but it's going to be my choice, because that's as far as horror is concerned lately, that's the thing that's just really stuck with me the most.
That's fine. It's interesting how he cast Carlo Gugino, Elizabeth Reeser, and even Henry Thomas in a lot of his work. So he definitely gets a lot of cool cats from various generations, has them kind of fill in the backstory. And I do like his establishing shots. I think too many of half of the Blumhouse stuff that you see nowadays just tries to. Some of it's pretty cool, and some of it's like it or hate it, and some of it's just catering to kind of just getting butts and seats. And he really does put a lot of thought into the establishing shot. Is like, because this will determine what to experience from the rest of this. And instead of, I mean, if you find some homages in his work, usually you kind of forgive it because he's got plenty of other original layering. Is like, I couldn't do it any fucking better. He's the man.
I just think that the guy has defied so many odds.
He has a good sense of humor.
I remember when Ouija 2 came out, the Origins of Evil one, and the first Ouija movie had got
really bad. Yeah.
Terrible reviews. And this is before I knew who Mike Flanagan was, but Ouija 2 came out and I never watched it because I'd heard the first one was so bad, but I just see this one getting these awesome reviews. So I think that's I became a fan of his, and Ouija 2 is actually the last film of his that I watched, but there's no reason for that movie to be as good as it is.
That's what I thought when I was watching it. Is like, okay, I didn't like the first one, but I didn't.
To a shitty movie that was actually pretty amazing. He defied the odds by making a sequel to another one of the greatest horror films of all time, The Shining, and actually making it live up to the sequel or live up to the original. It's not as good, obviously, but I think it lives up to it. I think it does it justice.
Well, I mean, it's kind of, for me, it's just apples and oranges. I mean, if you want to, everyone's already just been back and forth about the cult appeal of The Shining, and I'm just like, okay, it made an impact. You might hate it as an adaptation, you might not like Kubrick as a person, but I can't imagine a world without The Shining. That's just my opinion. I'll stick to it.
I back that up.
Yeah, I think a lot of people could, but it's just so amazing how it used to be the popular movie to hate, and then still is in some circles. So many people are like the Clive Barker fans, where they're like, anything he says, anything Stephen King says, that's the final verdict. I'm like, whatever happened to opinions?
Yeah.
Stephen King likes everything these days, so
there you go. Yeah, no, Ouija 2 Origin of Evil is a good example. That and Haunting in Connecticut 2 were two examples of just movies that had no right to be good, but were unexpectedly good because someone actually gave a shit and made a standalone story, and it before the studio put on a in name only over it.
Yeah.
And so it is interesting how it used to be you go for the DVD bargain bin and you find these unusual treasures. In this one, this got an actual release, and it helps that Mike is also an editor, and I think that's great. There's a lot of good editors who know.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I lost you for a second.
I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Oh yeah, I'm back now. I just went out for a second.
No, it's all good. Yeah. I thought you were getting some crappy news. I'm like, oh shit. Okay. So yeah, that brings us to number 5.
Number 5. Quite possibly the ultimate grindhouse movie, Raw Force.
Hold up.
Hello?
Yeah. Okay. Law Force.
Raw Force.
Law Force. Okay. I'm not familiar with that one.
Oh God. Let's just say in 90 minutes they stick in Cameron Mitchell, pirates, a shipwreck, kung fu black belt zombies, giant saltwater piranhas.
Oh, the Power. This is what this is known as. 1984.
I've seen it. I've seen it as Kung Fu Cannibals, but I haven't seen it as The Power.
Okay, Kung Fu Pan. Okay, that's the reason I don't know what you're talking about. Kung Fu Cannibals. That's a way more appealing name for whatever reason.
Yes.
No, it's not. It's listed on IMDb as "We're Going to Eat You," 1980.
No, that's a different film. That's
okay.
That's a Hong Kong film. That's Tsu Hark's first film.
Oh, okay. So
which it's a damn good film, but it's not the same film.
Okay, La Force. This is French.
Raw Force.
Oh, Raw Force. Okay.
Raw, as in uncooked.
Okay. Like Eddie Murphy's. Okay. Cameron.
As in the wrestling.
Okay, yes, I have heard of this one. Holy fucking shit. Everybody's in this movie.
Yes.
Oh, I like me some Cam Mitchell, even when he doesn't give a shit. He just is the quintessential B-movie guy who you know what kind of a movie you're watching. Oh, dear. Okay. Director Ed D. Murphy showed this film to Chuck Norris at a private screening. The first treatment of the script was written under the title Kung Fu Zombies, and a treatment was written for a possible sequel that would have starred Jonathan Winters as the ex-husband of Hope Holliday's character. God, this is what I love about B-movies. It's just the most unusual trivia, and you're like, this actually showed at a cinema at one time.
Yeah,
The director
that actually played the Grindhouse circuit back in the day.
This is a must-see film for its many shots of a Grumman albatross amphibian. What the hell? Now, some people are putting their opinions in the trivia section. Jesus Christ. 1982. So you just summed it up for us: piranhas, cannibals, and martial arts, and Cameron Mitchell. I have not seen Raw Force. Is this so bad it's good, or just outrageous?
It's outrageously entertaining.
Okay, well, there goes. Oh Jesus, number 5. Oh my God, I will check it out at your urging. It's listed under comedy, but I don't think it's meant to be a comedy.
No,
Especially when
it's on you. It's on YouTube. It's on a few places.
Oh God.
I actually had to buy the Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray.
Guys are my boys. They know how to master the most cult of all cults. Oh God. I'll let Mitch take it from here. What is number 4?
Number 4, The Descent.
Okay.
Oh, Neil Marshall.
Yeah. That's the man right there. The Descent is another one that kind of takes the example I like to go by, because it starts off as just this really endearing drama, and it really takes the time to set the characters up, get their stories, make them feel like real people, and then you throw them into this hell. And then on top of that, the first little bit, once they get to this cavern, is just this claustrophobia horror film, where just crazy, real life insane things are happening, and it's terrifying. And it's not until about halfway into the movie, 50 minutes in or so, that you really get introduced to these monsters, and it becomes this whole other thing. And I like monster movies as much as the next guy, but they're not my favorite thing in the world. But I thought this was just such a nice, unique spin on that genre, and man, I just really loved it. And again, it's not afraid to pull those emotional punches either. So that's just something that's gonna suck me in every time. If you can scare me, but also make me feel those other emotions at the same time, then I'm in and I'm hooked.
Oh, I'm glad someone liked it. I definitely agree that the claustrophobia is top of the line. Just very unusual. It makes you wonder how they even filmed it. Was this an actual set? Was this an actual mountain? Getting all that perfect lighting in that Crampton area. I don't really feel for any of the characters because they kind of rushed the development, but I am due for a rewatch of this, and I do think they had good acting, and
yeah, I don't. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's all good. I don't feel like it's exploitive. I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's like a B movie drive-in movie." I'm like, I'm not getting that feeling. I don't think it's made to be over the top and shocking. I mean, yes, it's shocking, but it's not, shocking and ooh, gross.
Shocking in a very real way. Again, like they feel like real people to me, and that's like
They definitely felt real.
films can be. They oftentimes, like the characters, oftentimes just feel like people that were just written in to be slaughtered, and so it can be fun to watch those movies, but there's really no real resonance with them at the end of the day. But in The Descent, I cared about every single character, and I cared about what happened to them, and didn't want to see the things happen that eventually did because they'd been built up so well. So yeah, I think it's really powerful, and to like write it off as some midnight movie to go watch it at drive-in or whatever, that's silly.
Yeah. I don't even think it would even be fun watching that drive-in because it's not even campy, and so why would you want to
About that movie at all.
Alrighty, number 3. Who dares enter the tomb of number 3?
Number 3.
Alexandra. Make your wishes.
Number 3. Definitely a classic. Hammer's Dracula.
Yes. Some of the Hammer stuff are cash-in, but this one is not. This one is.
No.
This is top of the line. Legit good vampire movie.
as the franchises went on, yeah, some of them got pretty sketchy. But yeah, no, this kickstart was like it was to the 50s, and that what the Universal monsters were to the 30s. It just kickstarted the genre, brought them into a modern age, and I mean, Christopher Lee is the ultimate Dracula.
Oh, that, and it's interesting how he would play this character in various campy ones, various non-Hammer ones,
Yeah.
but again, all these foreign investors wanted to come up to him. You're like, you gotta play this. I mean, just the aura of your voice, just the naturalness of, well, he somehow makes this character romantic, even though clearly, Dracula's not romantic.
No.
But that's how he gets you trapped, under the spell. So
I'm confused. I thought Gerard Butler was the ultimate Dracula.
I do like Gerard Butler, but that movie's a different story. I thought Rutger Hauer was a good Dracula in that sequel that no one saw.
Hey, I liked Dracula 2000 when I was a little boy.
Yeah, I can.
Well, it hasn't aged well, but
I'll defend the sequels. Fun shot in Romania stuff. By the same guys who did the Prophecy movies.
2000. Go wrong with that. Dracula in space.
Oh, now you're thinking of Emmanuel, Mitch. Hold on now.
We'll return after these messages.
Hey, feeling down? Feeling low? Not enough podcasts about movies in your life? Why not try
They must be destroyed on sight.
the new Podcast Cure-All, sure to get you right with the world and on a path to better living. We have exploitation, we have Italian horror, we have zombies, we have slashers, we have crime films, we have spaghetti westerns, we even have sci-fi and sex comedies. So take a dose of
They must be destroyed on sight.
as needed, and let the hosts, Lee Russell, Daniel Harper, Paul Romali, and the odd guest host cure what ails you.
Warning, may cause atrophy, African consumption, black fever, bone shave, chin cough, colic, cramp colic, dropsy of the brain, elephantitis, grocer's itch, jaundice, mania, miasma, mortification, palsy, Pott's disease, rheumatism, scurvy, St. Anthony's fire, summer complaint, and worm fit in some people. Consult a physician before listening.
Hey, I heard you like movies.
I heard you like to hustle.
I heard you like podcasts.
Well, guess what?
There's a podcast for you out there called The Home Video Hustle.
Damn right.
Every Friday, we talk about whatever movie PJ picks out the bag. What does that mean? Every Wednesday on our YouTube page, I put a bunch of movies in a bag, and PJ picks one out at random. And then we just watch it. We talk about it for maybe like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever we feel like doing, wherever the conversation leads us.
But do we actually talk about the movie?
Most of the time. Tangents galore.
Yes.
So believe me, we may be a movie podcast, but it's not always about movies. We might talk about video games,
Music.
Yeah, that's the big one, music. Sometimes we might get a little bit of politicalness in there.
Yes.
Sometimes we may just, we know what we like to do. We like to tell stories, PJ.
Yes.
I am the master storyteller
Yes.
of the podcast realm. Undefeated. So if you like to hear about movies, video games, whatever foolishness comes to our mind, the most random stuff you could think of, check out the Home Video Hustle. You can find us on the Stitchers,
Yes.
the Google Play,
Yes.
Apple Podcasts,
What else?
Podbean,
What else?
Podcast Addict,
Goddamn.
all that. Ain't no reason you can't get your hustle on. We everywhere, worldwide, baby.
Hustle, motherfucking hustle.
Hey, we can't cuss in the promo, PJ.
Ah.
We gotta be family friendly. There may be podcasts out there that don't want his hair say
Ah. Ah.
all that good fun stuff.
Well, you.
Yeah. don't run the listeners away, PJ.
I'm sorry.
But this is going kind of long.
Yes.
So we'll end this and say, hey, check out the Home Video Hustle every Friday on all the various podcast outlets. Peace.
Peace.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. And while Witch didn't make it to the top of the world, he did make the Gangs of Hollywood podcast. So join the gang and enjoy a movie review podcast about movie gangs, gangsters, mobsters, and the mayhem they cause. You can find GOH Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. At GOHPod, at www.gohpod.com, as well as your favorite podcast listening app. And remember, say hello to your little friend, for me.
If you take two old punk rockers who are past their prime, put them in front of a movie screen, and give them a podcast, what do you get? Cinema Punks. Cinepunks. It's the mixtape of movies.
Did you ever see a film at such a young age it left you traumatized with cinematic wounds? Necrophilia. It's a dead issue, man. Don't push it. Cinema Psyops is a weekly podcast documenting an ongoing experiment on the mind of an unwilling test subject.
No one should have to watch this movie.
Oh, no one should have to watch this?
No one should have to watch this movie.
Surprisingly, it's not a topic that a lot of people really want to tackle.
I'm shocked, Prudes.
I know, really.
Right?
It's the next sexual frontier that no one wants to explore.
I am, in the most sincerest of senses, disappointed in you.
It takes a powerful goddess like Connie, jam her arm down the monster's throat and kill it. Oh, I'm still tripping out over that. Even as a kid, I was like, I gotta find a girl like that. Every week, I get a new look of disappointment that I never thought I could get out of her.
Unimaginable. At 12 years old, you should not be watching this movie.
Obviously.
At 13, you should not be. 14, you shouldn't be. I'm not entirely sure even 17-year-olds should be watching this.
Just because you're offended by something doesn't mean that you have the right to demand that it doesn't exist. Watching this film again, I had all of this like little nerd glee with everything that kept
little
popping
history
up.
all popping up
absolutely.
at you.
So I totally loved this film.
Hey, I know why you couldn't see that. It's because your brain's warped from watching this shit at 12 years old.
Yeah, this is a rough movie. I told you ahead of time when we were getting ready to do it that it was
How
going to be a
did you
rough
watch
one.
this shit at 12?
Because physical wounds heal, cinematic ones don't. Listen to Cinema Psyops. It's time, let's check our queue, baby. Pair it with a couple brews, baby. We love good movies. We love the bad ones too. So we watch them all and pass their lessons on to you. Oh yeah. Everything I learned from movies helps to make life a little bit groovy. With a one-liner plot holes and gratuitous movies. It's time to get busy with your friend Steve and Izzy. At eilfm.podbean.com.
We now continue with our program.
Yeah, you're right. We should totally have Emmanuel versus Dracula on this list.
Which one sucks best?
Oh. Or like, which one? Which one made you change Skinemax? Alright. Oh, Jesus. Hell with it. I'll go with number 2. Creep. 2004. Not the new Creep. This is a older one that flew under the radar. This is a terrifying cannibal movie. Very much like The Descent.
Oh, is that the one that's kind of like Deathline? That's the one with the chick in the subway?
Yes, Franco Potente of the Bourne Identity fame is in this. Christopher Smith is better known for doing other movies like Severance, Triangle, and Black Death. But this is the first one I saw by him, and I still to this day, I'm not afraid of subways, but I do like how he creates all this tension, this mood. Young Sean Harris, before he was on the board, is also in here, I think, as the main creep, if I'm not mistaken. And I just like the mix of suspense, and when it finally gets to the gory finale, it's well earned. You know, it doesn't feel like they're just sticking around.
It's a good film. I liked it, but if you've seen Deathline, aka Raw Meat from the 70s, it's very similar.
Oh yeah, the Donald Pleasance one. Yeah.
Yes.
Government official. Yeah, I would not have been surprised if it had been a abandoned sequel to it at one point. It seems like a lot of these video nasties like Dead and Buried and other movies you see feature prominently in shows like Twin Peaks and even even Hell House, like we mentioned. It's interesting how all these unknown movies are getting a resurgent because they feel so similar to a lot of stuff we're seeing today. So, okay. Well, shit. What should be number one? Will it be Candyman or will it be something else? Do we all like Candyman here?
Candyman's awesome, man.
Excellent film.
Okay, well, if you guys want that to be number one, let's say that. All right. I've been meaning to buy the Philip Glass soundtrack, and it's just so damn pricey. But I'll get it. I'll get it eventually, and just hook it up to my speakers here.
I had actually I'd only seen Candyman once, many years ago, and then I recently worked on a set that Tony Todd was on.
No.
Oh, cool.
So it inspired me to go back and rewatch Candyman, probably for the first time as an adult. And man, like, it's not a particularly scary film, but it has just a general sense of unease throughout the whole thing that I think that a lot of horror films, especially a lot of horror films that find their way in the mainstream and are considered slashers and such, just has that uneasiness that a lot of those films lack. Like when she picks up, in that pool of blood, that's some crazy shit, and it's really affecting. I really loved watching that again. It was some good stuff.
Absolutely. I wonder if say his name 5 times has been used as a pickup line, or an in bed quotes.
See what this reboot or sequel or whatever it is going to be all about.
I was down to see it the day it got announced. I won't see the trailer though, because I know the trailer will give it away.
Probably. I'm looking forward to the remake.
They're bringing him back one way or the other, and I'm gonna expect it to be kind of a retread of this original movie. Let alone, it might even just get back. If he gets back to Get Out territory, that'd be even better. Just have to be some kind of hostage situation or home invasion, something. Racial tendency. The person I'm about to marry is a fucking psycho, something like that. And believes in slavery. Oh, there you go. He could tie it in. There you go, because Candyman was a slave. So there you go. He could tie it in that way. Alrighty, fellas. Do you have any current horror films and shows worth checking out? I've heard good stuff about Dark. I haven't been able to see that one.
I haven't watched it yet.
I don't watch a lot of shows, but when I have been making the time for is Deadlands on Shudder.
Okay. Is that based on the actual book series?
No, it's based on a movie, a movie from New Zealand from a few years ago. It's about the Maori. I can't pronounce it, but it's based in their mythologies and their tribal warfare and stuff. It's pretty damn good. Not as good as the movie, but and it's with that as a source. Deadlands.
Okay, Deadlands.
Yes.
Yeah, I watched one recently that I was kind of taken with, and for some reason I want to say it's called Emma, even though that sounds wrong, but it was a French horror show on Netflix, and just right out of the gate, it just kicks off and goes into insane territory with its violence and just with its thrills, just right off the bat. And it was kind of this like fun, quirky little series that almost kind of reminded me of, I think, what it would be like if, say, someone like Wes Anderson went into horror. Some of it among its characters, and it was fun. Again, I want to call it Emma, but I could be wrong on that one. But I watched it, binged the entire thing in like a day and a half, so I was really drawn in.
Okay, and so it's a German series or something like that. That's cool.
French series.
French series. Okay.
Take a look
I'm hearing I'm seeing a lot of people applaud this new South Korean show with Doona Bae called Kingdom.
Oh, the zombies, yes.
Yeah, they say it's not what you expect. Just go in empty. Don't And I'm a fan of Doona Bae from her work with the Wachowskis and the director of Parasite. So I mean, so it's got the star power. I've seen a lot of people say it's just kind of cool how it feels like a mix of a Hong Kong movie mixed with some viral plague and medieval time, And so I'm like, okay, so I'm down with that.
I saw a couple of episodes of the first season. I just have trouble keeping up with shows because I'm trying to crank out a movie review every day.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it, dude.
I have a very boring job.
Shit.
Night audit and security in a hotel.
You do security too? Damn.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Hey, it pays the bucks, Mitch. I'm not
Yeah.
kidding. You don't imagine this in a world where no one bothers you. If someone's got a problem, you hear it from your boss, as opposed to some stuck-up rich person who wants you to guard the apartment complex, which has shady folks. Everyone acts like it's dangerous. It's really not dangerous unless you're in a very hood territory. I only have a problem with doing the open doors, where you put your house on the market, because some of those houses do seem haunted because they got an unusual AC. And so as a result, vents are flying out everywhere. And even the wallpaper is kind of stuttering back and forth. Just going into those houses, it just creaks. And it's like, God damn, thank God I don't have this big an imagination. Because you want a horror movie? This is where you film your horror movie. This is supposedly a haunted house.
Yep.
Oh, shit. You guys got anything else to plug? We should be covering. Mitch, you're always busy in the world of film. Happy for you, buddy.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, hopefully,
in the day job everybody wants to live.
This will go live in August. Hopefully, Silhouette's been released by that point. I think that they were do a March release, but they just pushed it to be around August, September. I think they're trying to catch that Halloween marketing. So,
no, that is cool.
Well, that
rumor has it there's a sequel.
Oh yeah, I don't know where you heard that.
I'm just making shit up. April Hartman comes back as the reincarnated daughter of Satan. I don't know.
There you go.
And then make her just this MILF who fucks everyone to death. I don't know. No, don't do that. That'd be bad.
Hey, we'll see what April's interest lies.
I would not even ask him that. I'm too busy trying to do a Hitman trilogy here. And that's... Oh, God. No, thank you for being on here. It's been a long overdue.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad we got to do it.
All right. Anything else to promote? That's it for now.
No.
We see you interviewing or at any other film festivals deep in the heart of Texas or anything?
No, we already did Deep in the Heart with Silhouette. So, we'll see what goes on. I know those guys pretty well, so I might still make an appearance out there at the next one. But, yeah, we'll just see what happens.
All right. Well, lovely to hear. Legends are born every day. You guys keep reviewing and conquering the world of film. All right.
All right. Well, thanks again for having us on.
Thanks for having me on, man.
The Jacked Up Review Show can also be followed on Facebook on both the page and the group. Feel free to chat, leave questions, make requests for future episodes. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you so much for your various support, and we'll continue to entertain the hell out of you. Till then, take care.